President Trump had the power to cripple Iran's entire economy in minutes. He spared those targets because Iran accepted the ceasefire under overwhelming pressure.
As tensions in the Strait of Hormuz climbed to a dangerous new level, the U.S. Marine Corps silently positioned itself for what could become the most powerful counterstrike of the entire conflict. American commanders delivered a firm warning. If Iran decides to escalate by planting fresh minefields, unleashing larger drone swarms, firing more anti-ship missiles, or attempting a total shutdown of the waterway, the Marine Corps stands ready with a devastating, pre-planned response. This is not about mere defense. This is a detailed offensive strategy meant to crush Iran's remaining capabilities and force the Strait of Hormuz open permanently, ensuring global energy flows without further disruption. Deep inside a heavily guarded forward command headquarters on the Omani coast, the planning teams of the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force worked non-stop under bright fluorescent lights. Brigadier General Victor Lang stood at the center of the main operations room, facing an enormous digital wall display that mapped out every possible Iranian escalation in real time. The screen showed projected new minefields blocking shipping lanes, expanded coastal drone launch pads, relocated mobile anti-ship missile batteries hidden in rocky coves, and scenarios of massed, fast attack boat swarms attempting to overwhelm naval patrols. General Lang spoke to his assembled staff with steady, iron resolve. If Iran escalates, we will not simply respond. We will dominate and end the threat. 3 fully developed counterstrike packages are ready for immediate execution. Package Alpha seizes and holds critical coastal high ground to dominate the northern shore. Package Bravo destroys all remaining mine-laying infrastructure from the sea and air. Package Charlie launches a large-scale vertical and amphibious assault to physically secure the narrowest choke point of the strait. In every package, the end result is the same. The Hormuz corridor is forced open and kept open under American control. He methodically reviewed timelines, required troop numbers, fire support coordination, and strict rules of engagement, while officers updated live digital plans on their secure tablets. The Marines immediately began converting these high-level plans into concrete action. Across multiple forward bases and 3 amphibious ready groups in the region, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Marine Divisions launched intensive final rehearsals. Infantry battalions practiced full mission profiles on specially constructed mock-ups of Iranian coastal defenses, trench systems, and port facilities scattered across the desert training grounds. Amphibious vehicle crews drilled rapid launches from ship well decks, practicing high-speed transitions from water jets to tracked movement on sandy beaches. MV-22 Osprey tilt-rotor squadrons flew repeated night missions, perfecting tight formation flying and precise landings on narrow ridge lines and pier rooftops under simulated enemy fire. Heavy artillery batteries calibrated their howitzers for maximum range, while logistics marines worked through the night, pre-staging thousands of pallets loaded with ammunition, fuel bladders, medical supplies, and spare parts for instant deployment. The activity on the flight decks of the amphibious assault ships was particularly intense. Rows of CH-53K King Stallion heavy-lift helicopters waited with rotors folded, their enormous cargo bays already packed with up-armored Humvees, towed artillery pieces, and preloaded supply pallets. Adjacent to them, squadrons of AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters and UH-1Y Venom utility aircraft ran full systems checks, with deck crews carefully loading Hellfire missiles, Hydra rocket pods, and 20mm ammunition belts. Marine pilots and crew chiefs reviewed every checklist twice, ensuring every aircraft was combat ready at a moment's notice. Every Marine on those decks understood the gravity. If Iran crossed the red line, these aircraft and the Marines they would carry would deliver the decisive blow that ends the crisis for good. Inside the secure planning rooms, staff officers spent hours refining the 3 primary counterstrike scenarios with meticulous detail. In Scenario Alpha, if Iran begins laying new minefields, a reinforced Marine battalion would launch a helicopter-borne raid to seize and demolish the shore-based mine-laying facilities. MV-22 Osprey would insert infantry directly onto key targets while supporting Apache helicopters and naval surface fire suppress defending forces. In scenario Bravo, if drone and missile attacks surge, Marine HIMARS rocket batteries and long-range artillery would rapidly deploy to forward positions, striking deep inland launch sites with precision fires, all protected by Marine F-35B stealth fighters launching from amphibious carriers. In scenario Charlie, the heaviest option, if Iran attempts a complete closure of the strait, more than 8,000 Marines would execute a massive, multi-pronged assault. Simultaneous amphibious landings along the southern coastline, combined with vertical envelopment using Osprey and King Stallion aircraft to seize and hold the critical narrowest section of the waterway. The overriding objective across all scenarios remained unchanged. Apply such overwhelming speed and firepower that Iran loses both the physical means and the strategic will to continue threatening the strait. The Marines trained for these possibilities with absolute seriousness and professionalism. Infantry units practiced trench and bunker clearing drills in full battle rattle, advancing under live opposing force fire. Combat engineers rehearsed fast demolition of captured enemy weapons and rapid construction of defensive perimeters on seized ground. Logistics teams ran continuous drills to guarantee that any Marine force could fight independently for at least 72 hours without external resupply. Medical battalions conducted realistic mass casualty exercises, preparing triage stations and evacuation procedures for high-intensity combat. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, Brigadier General Victor Lang walked the busy flight line, observing another squadron of MV-22 Ospreys lifting off for night training runs. He paused beside a group of young Marines loading heavy gear into a CH-53K King Stallion and spoke to them plainly. If Iran chooses escalation, you will be the force that finishes this fight. You will be the ones who finally open the Strait of Hormuz for the world. Train hard tonight. Train like everything depends on it, because right now, it does. Night settled over the Gulf, yet the U.S. Marine Corps remained at peak readiness. Every amphibious ship, every aircraft, every artillery piece, and every Marine stood poised and prepared. The message sent to Iran was loud and unmistakable. Push any further, and the counterstrike will be immediate, overwhelming, and decisive. The Marine Corps had drawn its line clearly in the waters of Hormuz. Back inside the main command center, General Lang studied the updated operational map showing all Marine units in their assigned positions. He turned to his senior operations officer and said with quiet confidence, "Every package is fully prepared. If they push, we push back harder and smarter. The Strait of Hormuz will be opened by whatever means necessary, and it will remain open." The international community watched the situation with growing concern. Shipping companies kept their tankers at safe anchor points, hoping diplomacy would prevail and avoid further violence. Yet the U.S. Marine Corps had completed its preparations with unmistakable clarity. Any additional escalation from Iran would trigger a counterstrike of such scale and precision that the strategic balance in the strait would shift permanently toward free and secure navigation. The Marines stood ready, highly trained, fully equipped, and mentally prepared to execute the decisive plan that would finally secure the Strait of Hormuz. The next move was Iran's to make, but the powerful American response was already fueled, loaded, and waiting silently in the darkness, ready to act at a moment's notice. If Tehran chooses the path of escalation, the U.S. Marine Corps is positioned to deliver the counterstrike that ends the threat for good and reopens the vital waters of Hormuz for the entire world.